What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, hate. So it's a couple of things I want to talk about briefly. First thing I want to talk about is the fight between Liam Smith and Chris Eubanks Jr. as at least postponed because Liam Smith sustained an injury in training. I tried to wait for a while and try to find out what happened, and I still don't have that information of what the injury was. At this point, it's 5:49, and it's Tuesday. So I don't have that information. The fight is off because of now. Hopefully, the fight card still goes on, and maybe they can just find another undercard fight to put on and hopefully a good one. They could actually make Franchon Cruz versus Savannah Marshall the main event. And this could be a good thing for them. That, hey, okay, it sucks that Liam got injured, and then the fight with Chris Eubanks Jr. is off as of now, but that can give them the spotlight, and hopefully that's what happens. Okay. I don't think it's wise for Chris Eubanks Jr. to fight someone else. He just got beat by Liam Smith. That's where his focus was. And it probably would just suit him better to just wait for Liam. Now, next thing I want to talk about. I told you guys that Adrian Broner, you know by now, he no-showed his own event. I haven't heard anything about it since then. I haven't seen another press conference. I don't know if the fight is even still on. I really don't even care if the fight's still on. I don't think the majority of the fans don't care if the fight was still on. The only people that would probably care is actual Adrian Broner fans that just want to see Adrian Broner. They don't even care who he's fighting. I told you guys that, he has a destructive type of mentality, a self-destructive type mentality, and that it works against him. When I said that he was done, I meant it, and I wasn't saying it just to say it. Adrian's done. Anytime you go to someone else's fight over your own press conference, something's definitely wrong. And you're more into someone else's fight than your own. And, I'm not here to, detail anything about what I already said, because basically the point, me even bringing it up is because I had people saying, oh, watch, the reason that we ain't hearing about it is because everybody's focusing on Canelo fight right now. Look who Canelo just fought. John Ryder. Now, we know that, Adrian Broner has lost star power. He's no longer a star. People are living in the past talking about he's entertaining, he's funny, he's this, he's that. Oh, everybody will know. No, Adrian Broner has become a stale journeyman who hasn't done anything in a long time. And so where's the press conference? Where's all this news? And why would anybody be super excited? There's no super fight. We don't even know anything about the guy he's fighting. So not from boxing. If you took your time to personally check to see what was going on, you might get something on him. I tried to pull this fight up, and all I got was an amateur fight from 13 years ago. So that being said, as I said, Adrian shot himself in the foot. And in fact, he shot all 10 toes. So, next person I want to talk about, real quick, I just want to make an analogy about Canelo Alvarez situation, okay? I did a video that's already uploaded about Canelo Alvarez and basically what's in front of him. So, his WBA mandatory, guys, is David Morrell. His WBC mandatory is David Benavidez. He claims that he wants to fight Bivol next. Okay? He already pretty much skipped over Benavidez several times already. And even made the excuse that Benavidez had done nothing. He only fought one champion. Right? But he just fought a guy like John Ryder. And he's been doing this for a long time. criticizing fighters that the public want to see him fight and making the excuse that they haven't fought anyone. They've done nothing. So at this point, what's happening is this. He skipped him. He made this whole, I don't want to fight Benavidez because he's Mexican. And then, I forget the guy's name that fought, Bivol, and Bivol beat him. And he basically said if he beats Bivol, he don't want to fight that guy because that guy's a Mexican. But he just said, that he wanted to fight Bivol only if Bivol wins, right? Now, a guy like David Morrell, who's been, who was being overlooked all this time, this is the way I see Canelo. Right, I'm going to analyze it just like this. If you've ever taken any kind of test, driver's license, CDL, any kind of test, okay, where you're on the clock, right? You have a time frame, and you get to skip over questions that may be hard to you, like, man, or I don't remember that, or I'm not sure about that, and you can skip it, and you can skip until you get to one that, okay, I know that one, right? Now you go and you finish all these other questions and you answer them properly, right? You have to go back to those questions that you missed, and you're going to get them back in the same order. So you're either one, going to figure it out, or two, you're going to end up guessing and guess right, or you're going to guess and guess wrong. Either way, those same questions are going to come right back to you, and you can't escape them if you want to pass, right? That's exactly how I see Canelo's situation, where he skipped over Benavidez. Morrell's name, wasn't being mentioned, but then his name starts being mentioned, right? And actually, if you saw what he did, Canelo was being interviewed, and they actually asked him about fighting David. What about David Morrell? And he said, who? David Morrell. He tried to act like he didn't know who he was, right? Now, you guys know that he knows who David Morrell is. In fact, there's even video footage, little clips of him, behind the scenes stuff. He's talking to David Morrell, shaking his hand and talking to him. So why say who when they ask the question? See, and I say Canelo is a good fighter, but guys, let's stop playing this game. Like, every time you guys like a fighter, it's this whole, like, they can do no wrong. He's in a position of this. Think about it. Bivol is a tough test. Benavidez is a tough test. Morrell is a tough test. Now, either he's going to show heart and fight all three of these guys, or is he going to relinquish his belt that they're mandatories for? Is he going to suddenly get injured again? Like, what's going to happen? And I'm bringing this to the light because these are fights. The Bivol fight was his idea, but he realized, Bivol was better than he thought. He never wanted to fight Benavidez. And Morrell's name wasn't being mentioned. As I said, then then all of a sudden now Morrell starts to get some steam, and Morrell ends up being his mandatory. And so, for me, it's like, once you skip over people, as long as you hang around and they hang around and they keep winning, unless you go into a different weight class, at some point you're going to have to face them. Then what? And the worst part about it is when you're the older fighter, because the more time goes by, it's only worse for you. So, just something I was thinking about, and with Liam Smith and Chris Eubanks Jr., their fight being postponed again. Hopefully they make Franchon Cruz versus Savannah Marshall the actual main event. Hopefully that's what happens. We'll see. Adrian Broner, as I said, Adrian Broner, he basically just put the nail in his own coffin. People can keep crossing their fingers, but he's done. You know, Canelo right now is in a tough situation, and it's really his own fault. And listen, I like this situation because these are the fights we want to see. You know, fighting against Smith and all these other guys, it's not the fights that we wanted, man. I mean, look, you can fight good fighters, but stay away from the really good fighters. And because of who you fought in the past, we're going to keep bringing that up. No. What have you done lately? That's what it always comes down to. And as long as you're active in this sport, and you, especially fighting for that face of boxing title, like you don't want anybody to be called that but yourself, well, you know, you have to go in there and show and prove. And I believe, truthfully, this. He said he wanted to be the greatest Mexican boxer of all time as well, right? That's what he wanted to be known as. Well, he fights Benavidez, and Benavidez beats him and steals that title from him of the great. Well, he's mixed anyway, but regardless, bottom line is he doesn't want that. The younger, fresher fighter ends up dethroning him, and now it's all gone. You understand what I mean? Especially when it's to a guy who, like, it's not too often you're going to have two guys in this era that have a hell of a resume that fight each other. They're more about nitpicking and I'm the A side. I'm only going to fight you if you do this. If we don't do this, there's no fight. And that's what's been going on. So, yeah, you know, I listen, people have fears and concerns that they try to pretend that they don't have. And I just don't think Canelo is really confident that he can beat Benavidez. And I've said it a million times, and I'll say it again. I don't think he is. And so, basically, for you to end up, you know, giving a C-class fighter a chance and giving him props, but then taking at least a B plus fighter, at least, and saying that this guy can't, you know, he hasn't done anything. But you can't sit here and pretend and act like you don't see the skill level. So, just wanted to, you know, make this video and touch on those things. And tell me what y'all think about every situation. You know, how y'all feel about Marshall versus Cruz being the main event. And especially when, you know, you can't make them the co-main event with last-minute replacements. So, hopefully the event itself don't have to get canceled because of Smith and Eubanks situation. I mean, there's not really much to say about Broner, but tell me what y'all think about that situation with Broner. I mean, and let me know situation that Canelo is in, because with Beevil and Morel, and with Benavidez, do you even think that if those fights happen, that he fight them back to back, or do you think it's going to be one of them, a couple of meatballs? One of them, a couple of meatballs. But honestly, y'all, just let me know. But I don't think he beats any one of them guys, man. Anyway, let me know. Never fall in love with lies. Remember the truth brings hell out of people. And I'll catch y'all in the next video. And always remember, there will always be changing of the guards. No matter how much you like a fighter, nobody stays on top forever. Enough talk. Done.